To weigh in on the political implications, let's bring in New York Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin, member of the House Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committees and candidate for New York governor. He is also a U.S. Army veteran. Congressman Zeldin, you have kind of a nutshell way to sum up what's going on in Ukraine. Can you give that to our viewers tonight?
You have pro-freedom versus anti-freedom. For Americans and for others around the rest of the world from countries where people value freedom, there is this desire by nature to want to see Ukraine, President Zelensky, and all of their people to be successful pushing back against Russian aggression. You have one country pro-freedom, the other one anti-freedom, and that's why you're seeing so much support coming from throughout our great country.
The latest numbers out of the White House indicate they want to send a little more than $1/3 billion in humanitarian and military aid to Ukraine. Are you satisfied with the numbers? What more, if you think more should be done, what would you like to see?
First off, we need to acknowledge that we have a lot of Ukrainian Americans in our own country. They care about their loved ones. They have families back home. It's personal for them, and we have to make sure that we're providing a certain level of support when we take inventory of the economic pressure that we can help with bilateral, multilateral diplomacy. I believe that Ukraine is winning the information campaign. When we take inventory of different instruments of national power, information is one of them. It's the acronyms DIME, diplomacy, information, military, and economics. But when you saw the message sent from those 13 who were killed in Ukraine, telling the Russians to F off, or the grandmother giving seeds, or the other person detonating a bomb and stopping Russian tanks from advancing, and President Zelensky staying, unlike what we saw in Kabul where Ghani fled, this is all important. One aspect of this that the United States can assist with is with that humanitarian aid. The top line number that's being requested is one part of it. The follow-up question is, okay, what exactly is that help? There's some of it that can provide with lethal aid. That certainly assists Ukraine right now, and they're getting that support, not just from the U.S., but from others. The humanitarian piece is essential because obviously Russia, if they were to take territory, they're not looking out for the best interests of all of those people on the ground. And there's a lot of people, millions of people, who will become refugees.
The president is going to be speaking to the nation and really to the world on Tuesday night, his first State of the Union address. It comes against the backdrop of some very poor poll numbers for him. The latest Washington Post ABC poll just out today puts the president's job approval rating at 37%. 55% say they disapprove. And when you look at prospects for the 2022 midterm elections, among all registered voters, the Republican candidate, a generic ballot, is preferred by 49% of voters. 42% say they prefer the Democrat candidate. What would you like to hear the president say on Tuesday night?
As it relates to what we're seeing in Russia and Ukraine, there's direct relationship to us here home. We need to be prioritizing our own energy security. We need to change our energy policy. We need to be producing our own resources here, removing our reliance on adversaries like Russia. Our physical security interests are important. Our economic interests are key. That physical security is also at the border of our own country. People feel like we are not paying enough attention, and I agree, with our own territorial integrity while we are talking about the territorial integrity elsewhere. If you go fill up your tank, if you're trying to heat your home, if you're trying to buy groceries, the inflation aspects as well as the other economic realities of just not being able to afford to make ends meet, the supply chain crisis, it all adds together. So for this president, when he gets there to State of the Union address on Tuesday, it's important for him to talk in reality. This is not a Democratic National Convention. We're not looking for you to spin what we all see right in front of us with our own eyes. We have identified the problem. Now we want solutions, regardless of whether you're Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal. Don't spin us for an hour. Just tell us what you're going to do about. We want competency in government. We want consistency in government. And we want policies, whether it's abroad or here at home, prioritizing our economy, our safety, our freedom.
The world has received a wake-up call from Vladimir Putin on all of this. New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. Congressman, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.